after the setup of from the pyramid, but it's very good to know this point exactly. In my case, I mark the point with a special colored isolation tape. As you can see here, I made the marking now, and this point is my absolute center of the inside coil. It looks a little bit different because it seems to be too far on the upper side. But as you know, we had here a little bit greater tube, so there is more distance here inside. You see it. Well, I cannot tell it too much. Please don't shake this coil now, because you know inside we have the quartz sand. If this will fall down while you're working, you have 100% to reassemble it. You have to open it and you have go back to the point where we filled the sand inside. It's really absolutely important not to destroy the positioning of the quartz sand inside. But maybe you will see it. And if you have any problems with the pyramid, with my setup, the first thing you have to control is your quartz sand, and the first thing you have to control is that you didn't steer and that you didn't shake the tube as well. Of course, you can change its positions, but don't kick it away. Don't put it too, too offensive on the table. It will give you 100% some bad emotions, believe it. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to the final and most important part of the whole TPP construction, the mounting of the reactor. And I will know this is the point the most people will have something to laugh, because I make it now really absolutely very unprofessional, only to prove that you can see there are no David Copperfields inside. There are no cheats possible. I will show it in the kind I wouldn't make if I would make a pyramid for producing energy. But I decided to mount all the pyramid pieces with the same cord I used to find out the center. So you see, here are the cords, and now we had some holes here. Normally I would make this in plastic, but as you know, at TPP 6 there were some people that thought I have some wires inside of the plastic, and the people, they will find every time something where you can cheat them. So I decided to make it all the design only with normal cords. It's a little bit tricky to put the cord now inside. Normally, if there would be more believers, I could save this time, but I think it would be better for you to see that everything is mounted legally. So we don't want to destroy anything, and we don't want to shake our reactor. Of course, it's a little bit tricky to do this, but I hope it will work. The major goal is not to destroy anything. It's more tricky than I thought. And because it's so cold here in Austria, I colored all the pyramid surface a few days ago, but as you can see, the color is not dry, so I'm working too fast. Well, now we have mounted it, and as you can see, it doesn't meet the center, so you will have to use a few tricks. If you mount it with two cords, you can change the position. If you tear or push on one cord, it will move like we want. The most important thing is, now we have to find the right height, and it would be another good time to get some helping hand, but there is no helping hand. I forgot to put in my measure, so we have to do something I'm professional. We have to fix it shortly. So. Okay. Next wonderful situation. Here it is. So in my case, I know we need 25 centimeters because I did a drill here and I took this small nail absolutely parallel inside and I took the measure from inside. So we know the center point has to be 25 centimeters in the height. In this case, it's not very hard to do this, but you can believe me, it would help really if there would be a second person who can help you. In my case, I hope you can see anything. No, you can't see anything, but it's not interesting how I'm fighting with the cords. In our case, we need 25 centimeters, and it should be tricky enough. So I try to get it to 25. First we make the 25, okay. You cannot see anything, oh sorry. But you can trust me. Now we have 25 and now we have to fix the cord in this height. It would be a good suggestion to control this twice. Okay, we have 25. So as I told you, it's not very professional what I'm doing now, but it will help the people believing that we don't put any power into our reactor from outside. Of course, it would be a good idea to make it more professional in your home. So in all my other versions, without video demonstrations, I need some plastic tube, isolated plastic tube, and I have here on this side a special adapter where I can fix this plastic tube, and I will glue it. And if you see here on this piece of iron, I had a great hole and the slot. I had a counterpart, and with one screw I can fix the plastic here. And of course you should do this at home a little bit more professional. This is only for demonstration, and you see I made a crimpy and I made a good knot here to hold it in line. The piece inside is not so heavy, so it's not necessary to secure it especially. Well, the most important thing is when you make the pyramid setup, it would save your life to work on a metal plate. So maybe you saw it, I can show it a little bit better. So from the beginning on, from the starting on, I worked with a great metal plate on the floor. So long you're working on a metal plate, everything is absolutely undangerous here inside, because now we know the radiation, the energy, the power, the electricity is coming from downside. And if you work with a good earthed, well-grounded metal plate, there cannot happen anything to you while you work. The next problem, I don't want to fix it here now in this kind of presentation. Of course, you need a special frame on the downside. You can use also plastic tubes or something isolated, non-metallic, of course, very important. Absolutely non-metallics inside. You can use it to fix your product at home. But here for demonstration, I don't want to use too much possibilities to give the people a chance to cry for a cheat, that's all. Well, this was the most important thing. And the last thing we have to do is to connect everything proper like it's necessary, so with our wires. And then we try to find a good place outside without rain to produce a little bit of electricity. But before we will do it, we will speak about the connections. So you have to know what to do with all the kinds of wires here. Okay. I can say true. I had a little bit of mechanical problem to install the capacitor, and so I decided to cut here a little bit, to make here a little bit cut, and one of the other side too. And now I can show you I made some holes inside, and with this kind of holes and tubes, I can mount the capacitor a little bit better. So in the next few minutes I will show it to you how to mount all the pieces. But now I had a great mistake. I found out I cut my capacitor completely in the false way. So that's a great problem now. So I have to decide what to do, and you will hear it. Okay, I made a great mistake. I told you a few minutes before. I took the angles from my capacitor absolutely fails. So I have to decide to coil it new or to think a little bit different. In my case, I started to think a little bit different because I cut it down the pieces where normally would be the inlet, and now we will use the outlet as inlet for the capacitor. Well, let me tell what I did for a little bit better stability of all that. As I told you before, I made here some angle, I cut it down, I put some holes inside, and I fixed everything with some crimpy. As you know from V6, there was a screw in the middle of my pyramid to produce the ground, the earth. So I used this screw for the earth now to fix the capacitor a little bit. On the other side, I made a very professional hole and the crimpy inside to fix the capacitor on the reactor. Well, back to basic. What's important now in this moment? Of course, the reactor have to be in the center. This is in my case absolutely okay. We marked the point. Maybe you can see the point, the center point of the inside reactor. It's the black point on the white tape. Now it's exactly 25 centimeters over ground. So the reactor is in the middle, in the center of the pyramid. Well, now we have to make the final steps, the connection and the schematic for all this, and then we can hopefully start to produce a little bit energy. Please let me repeat it because it's very important. Normally I can make this better, of course, so it's not very professional what I show you here now in this moment, but it's not the deal to show you my best and professional work. It's the deal to show you the function principle, and I did a lot of small things anti-cheat. So I don't want to speak with 1,000 people about the possibility that I will cheat you or I will cheat the whole world. So I decided to make it very poor, very easy, but you can believe me, I could make it better. This is only for demonstration, and this is only to show the principle of producing energy. And if you can make it more beautiful, all this device, I will invite you to make it more beautiful. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment of absolutely truth. The most important thing to make a running TPP, the wiring diagram. I don't want to speak about all the diagrams existing in the internet. I saw there were posting some people, they told you they are special friends of mine, they have informations from first hand. I never laughed something that much before because most of all the plans, they were much too complicated, and it's the great problem from all the people. They think too complicated. So all the technicians, all the engineers, all the scientists, they think they have to think so complicated because if it would be easy, everybody would know it. But I will show you now in this schematic diagram, it's that easy that you will smile. And I'm 100% sure there will thousands of scientists will cry in this moment because that what I will show you now, it cannot work. And I think